Giles has gone the whole way here. Save a minute.
So the Pirates get the ball out of his hands. Look at Riley in Imbing, shaded over towards Giles.
Williams gets it to Giles. A deep three. Oh, he made it! 20 for Kenyon Giles.
Joining All-American now is Wichita State's Kenyon Giles. Kenyon, welcome.
What's up, man? Thank you for having me.
We are excited that you're here because you and your team have just been on a tear, it seems, the last couple of weeks. You've won 5 of your last 6. What do you think it is about this Shocker squad that has them rolling in the right direction?
I would just say the losses that we took early in the season, I'll say it started in the Bahamas, 0-3, and then our coaches gave us a talk about, it ain't about how you start, it's about how you finish. And, I feel like we use all of those losses as fuel, and we're learning from those losses. We lost a lot of a lot of close games when starting the season, and I feel like we're closing those now. That's what's really giving us that, win the last 5 or 6.
What do you think the difference is that has it allowed you to close out those games that are close that maybe you weren't doing at the beginning of the year?
Just being more calm in those moments and then just understanding that execution has to be, execution and discipline is really important into those games. And I feel like you could tell, and then the fight has to be times 10 more. I feel like our fight last time, in close games, you got to go get it. You got to go, you got to go figure out a way. We kind of let the game dictate it. We got to go dictate how we can win this game.
You talk about some of those early losses in the year. When that was happening, how was the team able to stay together and get this thing back on track?
We always stayed positive, man. We never thought that we were a bad team, that we weren't clutch, we weren't anything. We just had to figure it out, like the losses, like we just learned from our losses. It was a lesson.
Let's talk about you a little bit. We'll come back to the team in just a moment. In your last 2 games this past week, averaging 25.5 points per game. You've been great all season long, but in particular turned it up a notch. How have you been able to do that?
Just being aggressive, man, and my coaches, talking to me, my teammates giving me the utmost confidence. After that FAU game, where I only shot 5 shots, Coach Mills put me to the side, was just like, don't defer. Ever since then, I just told myself, I'm gonna hit first and we'll figure out the rest later.
Absolutely. It's taking a little bit of the command of that offense. Now, postseason is getting very close. 3 games left in the regular season. How do you close out these last 3 games, put yourself in a good spot heading into Birmingham?
These next few games, you still want to execute the right way, be disciplined, do all the right things leading into March. You need a few games from March, a few different things you need: toughness, execution, discipline. So just doing all the right things that lead to March.
As you take a look at this season as a whole, you talked about early losses. You talked about executing now in close games. If you could define Wichita State men's basketball, how would you do it?
I say a team that just figures it out, like we figure it out. A lot of gritty. Gritty is the word I'll use. Gritty. So we'll have some lapses sometimes where offense look a little slow or defense sometimes it's lacking off, but somehow we just win those games. A lot of those games like ECU is one of them, man. We came out really slow for 2 halves, against ECU, and we figured out how to get a double overtime win. So I'll say gritty.
I think gritty is a word that we use a lot here at the American. Last question for you, Kenyon. Obviously, you've had some other stops in your college basketball career. What has this season been like for you as a Shocker? What has it meant to you? How have you adjusted to this system?
It means a lot. The community here is amazing. It gives me, I never really I always liked away games more, but this year is my first year ever liking home games way more. So I said the community is a big difference. And then, like the players, we have guys like Will Berg, E-Man. We have 7-footers in this conference. I'm not really used to seeing that athletic bigs like how we have, and then the guard play. So and then it's being an American, the talent level is a big difference. So I loved it here. I'm loving it here, I'll say.
Wichita State is certainly a fun place to watch games and for you play games. Kenyon, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you.